Good morning, learners. How are you doing today? Today we'll be treating mathematics, and under mathematics we'll be treating the topic rounding off decimals to the nearest unit. Rounding off decimals to the nearest unit. If you remember, last week we treated rounding off of all numbers to the nearest unit. Now today we'll be treating the decimal part of this. Now we have just these few examples to look at. Now, number one, I would want for us to round off 0.6. Please, this is not dot. It is not full stop. It is point. 0.6 to whole number. That means we're bringing every number here down to this whole number. And remember, I told you that once that number is over up to 5 or more than 5, you round it off and it becomes 1. You replace that number with 0 and that number becomes 1, and you add it to the next digit. So that's what we're going to do here. This 6 is more than 5, so it becomes 1. And that 1 is added to this 0, and 0 plus 1 becomes 1. Point. Nothing remains here. 0. That's as simple as it goes. Now, number 2. Is this 3 up to 5 or more than 5? It is not up to. So it is cancelled and remains 0. It cannot be rounded off to 1. So 1 remains as it is. So you're rounding off, your 1 remains 1, and your 3, because it's not up to 5, becomes 0. Then let's go to the next one. Let's round it off to the nearest whole number. So 7 is more than 5, it becomes 1. And this, because you've removed it from there, you've rounded it off, it remains 0. Add 2 to 1. 2 plus 1 becomes 3. And your decimal point and 0. Number 4, you have to round up to the nearest unit. Now, 9 is more than 5, so it becomes 1, and this remains 0. So 1 plus 8 becomes 9. Write the remaining numbers there. So 901.0. Now, I would want to test us with this. We have to round up to the nearest unit. Please note that numbers that come after the decimal point have their place values as unit, tenth, hundredth, and so on. That means starting from this decimal point here, the next number after the decimal point is units, just like we have before the decimal point. But right after that unit, we have the next number whose place value is tenth. Whose place value is 10th. And if there was another number after the 10th, it will be called 100. Its place value will be 100, and the next one will be thousandth, and so on and so forth. So this one here is the unit, this is the 10th. So you are asked to round off to the nearest unit here now. Let's round up to the nearest unit so that in case you meet it anywhere, you will know what to do. Now, this 3 is not up to 5. So, when you strike it out, you have only 0. You can't add anything to this because you have no 1 to add to it. So, you have 214.4. Do we understand? Now, following. Number 1, you have to round it off to the nearest unit. Number 2, you round it off to the nearest unit. Number 3, round it off to the nearest to the nearest unit. Round it off to the nearest unit. Number 4, round it off to the nearest whole number. Number 5, you have to round it off to the nearest whole number. Thank you, and God bless you all.